I don't want to study. I don't want to go to university. I don't want to get in debt. Just want to do music. Band was the main thing, and it always has been. Still is, thank goodness. That scene was huge in Leeds, which was the biggest town near where we lived, where we used to all go out and get drunk and go to gigs and just like mosh and go nuts. I think from being young, we learnt quickly how this is going to pan out. We either decide not to get along with each other and be dicks, and the band would break and we wouldn't be able to tour, or we do family, like, which was the way that we were brought up, which is to love one another, respect one another. I'm like, everyone's going to know. I'll cry in front of everyone. I don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? So everyone's so different. So you start going out with your friends for a couple of drinks. It then turns into every single evening you're drinking. And then it turns to, God, it's 12 o'clock. I need a drink. I can't cope. It was like life when you're going to sit and be still, so that I could work stuff out and realise, what I really want for Marmozets. In that cycle, I got quite depressed, and I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. I just want to go open a little flower shop and have a little cafe and just, start making a future. Hey, I'm Becca Mac from Marmozets, and you're watching Shout Loud TV, and it's all the spiel on knowing what you know now and the Marmozets world. Cheers, guys.
Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Shout Loud TV. I'm sitting here with Becca from Marmozets. How's it going?
Hello, good, very good.
We're here to talk about their new record, Knowing What You Know Now, which has been out since January, I think.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Most people get that in a tongue twist, so you said it very confidently.
Knowing What You Know Now?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Some people find it really difficult to say for some reason.
Interesting. So let's just start with the... how's the tour been going? Where have you been? Good. And what was your highlight so far?
So we've done Germany. This is the last show.
Yeah.
Before we head home for a couple of days to wash our knickers. And then we're off to America for a whole month. We've been to Paris. We've been to Utrecht. We've been to Amsterdam. We've done a bunch of dates. It's been a while since we've been over here, and I guess it's just nice to see that people still care and our fans are so loyal. So it's been mad. Like, everyone's just been like going crazy every show. It's one of the things where it's like, before you step out on stage, you're like, how are people going to be? How are people feeling about the record? And everyone's just been like proper down just to just go nuts. So, and that's what we're about. So.
Yeah, it was basically going to be my next question. How's the reception been for the gigs? How have people been responding to the new songs?
Amazing. People singing about the lyrics. You can't ask for anything better than that. Even playing the older stuff, because obviously we've got a lot more of a fan base from the newer stuff. But you can tell that they've gone and listened to this and then gone, okay, let's see what they did before. And so obviously the classics like Why Do You Hate Me, Move, Shake, Hide, Is It Horrible, Weird and Wonderful. Definitely from our Weird and Wonderful album, everyone just goes nuts for them. And then Major System, Error and Play are just like big ones that everyone just rocks at. And Suffocation, we've kind of seen, we've seen Suffocation favorites. Just I don't know, just kind of do its own thing. We didn't really think much of it. It's like, maybe we should have released it as a single, damn. But it's fine.
It's a great way to celebrate the end of your tour. It's a sold-out show tonight, so congrats to that.
Thank you so much.
Let's talk about your band history just very briefly. You used to be a band from a music school, if I get that right? Or did it start beforehand even? Yeah,
we started in school together, so it's just normal school. And I guess we all had a love for music, and we all eventually discovered each other. Well, it wasn't much to discover because two of them are my brothers and the other two are brothers, so it's basically a family affair. Well, it is a family affair. So we were we'd move from, the Macintyres would move from down south, and we were all in a new place, and Yorkshire is completely different. The people are completely different from the southerners. So we were like, we don't like it here, but we love music. And we found two brilliant, awesome guys who were very similar to us. And we became best friends with them, and now we're like touring the world together, and it's insane. Yeah. And then we went to music college together. I just kept going. I kept enrolling I did performing arts for a year, and then I did a music degree at Leeds College of Music, and then I did a college degree at Bradford College of Music. So I just kept winging it until we started touring and stuff, because I was just like, I don't want to study, I don't want to go to university, I don't want to get in debt, I want to do music.
So you basically studied vocals too there at Leeds.
Yeah, like theory and just learned how to perform, which I already could do. So it was cool though, because it was like when we were at college, it's like you get put into bands that you have to be with for the whole year, and I just hated it. No offense to all the college people that I went to college with, it's just like it wasn't my thing, because I already had my thing, which was Marmozets, and I was just excited to get out and go to band practice. Do you know what I mean? That was like,
I totally get you.
Band was the main thing, and it always has been, still is. Thank goodness.
I mean, your stage presence, as much as you've been lectured and tutored on how to perform at your school, or what you've been saying, is very out of the box. It's not what you would think anybody would move like. You have a very, very special and interesting stage presence, in my opinion.
That's the thing. I didn't feel like I did learn anything at music college in way of performance, because I didn't care. I was just like, I'd stand there, sing the part I'd need, and then that was it. But as soon as it was a Marmozets gig,
you were going nuts.
Yeah, it's completely different. So and I come from the math core, and the Dillinger Escape Plan. Under Oath have just released a new song. Under Oath, it's great. Loved Under Oath. I would be screaming with my head out the window. Like that was our stuff, and that scene was huge in Leeds, which was the biggest town near where we lived, where we used to all go out and get drunk and go to gigs and just like mosh and go nuts. And lovely. Now it's completely different in Leeds. It's indie, and you know how music's evolving and changing. So it's cool though. It's cool that I was part of something. So that still is around, Architects are still killing it.
Obviously.
Under Oath just released a new song. It's just like, it's all good.
Yeah, we saw them last month at the Palladium here in Cologne.
Cool.
It was a massive show.
They're
indeed.
Amazing, aren't they?
Amazing.
It sounds incredible.
Yeah.
They all are incredible. Yeah.
Getting back to the point of two families being in a band together, what are the biggest complications, or are there complications, or do you feel like you have an advantage because you have similar mindsets?
Yeah, I guess the advantage is there, but we are all so different from each other. I think from being young, we learnt quickly how this is going to pan out. We either decide not to get along with each other and be dicks, and the band would break and we wouldn't be able to tour, or we do family, like, which was the way that we were brought up, which is to love one another, respect one another. Everyone has their days. We all piss each other off. We get into little arguments, but nothing stays hidden. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't, like, I get in trouble for speaking the truth, because I'm like, I say
Blunt
how
and
it
honest.
is. Yeah. Some people might find that a bit offensive or think I'm a nasty person, but I'm not. Like, I love people. I'm on this earth to try and do the most I can to help others. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But it is important to look after yourself first before you can do anything like that. Of
course. Speaking of which, you said that you have very different personalities. First of all, is that reflected in songs like Weird and Wonderful? I think there's one line that's, our personalities sometimes collide. Yeah. Is that linked to the band itself?
Yeah, of course. Right. Because you do collide, because everyone's so... When you've got a bunch of musicians that are all gifted in their own ways, with most bands it can be one person that does all the songwriting and is the bomb, do you know what I mean? The shit that sorts everything out. But for us, because we're all creative, it's like we have to learn how to like listen and evolve the songs that way, instead of just going, right, Sam, you write all the songs.
I think,
Do you know what I mean? So it's like... sometimes it can get a bit hot-headed, and I guess sometimes I have more of a sensitive approach. That's not just because I'm a woman. I think it's just, that's my nature. That's how I am. I have a heart that feels like it's exploding all the time, you know. I don't necessarily cry all the time when I see sad things, but, you know, my heart yearns and aches for people when I see things in the world that's going on. But for like maybe Sam, he'd be like, yeah, it does affect him, but he's got more of like this is not right, this needs to be sorted, let's do something about it. Do you know what I mean? More attitude, where, or maybe sometimes he's a bit more laid back and he doesn't look like he gives a shit, but he does give a shit. Where I'm like, everyone's gonna know, I'll cry in front of everyone, I don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? So everyone's so different. So
it's been 3.5 years since Weird and Wonderful Marmozets, and your new album is called Knowing What You Know Now. So please elaborate, what do you know now?
Everything.
No,
I'm joking. Yeah. I'm learning stuff every single day. I guess it's one of the things where it's like, if we'd started knowing everything that we knew now about the road, about management, about labels, about fans, about music, about songwriting, obviously we'd be thrown right into the deep end. But I guess it's just one of the things where it's like, you know, you can kind of see a lot. It does come up. It's like, God, if only I knew that. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have done that or made that mistake or done that, because the whole point of life is to progress and become a better person for yourself. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's something that, you know, each and every day we're learning. We're wanting to make ourselves better people and understand things better and not fall into the same, because you can keep making mistakes and you just get stuck and you end up having panic attacks and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like people get into such a state because of like behavioral ways, and I guess just because you can get so into habits, you can get like lost without even realizing. You know, you start going out with your friends for a couple of drinks, it then turns into every single evening you're drinking, and then it turns to, God, it's 12 o'clock, I need a drink, I can't cope. It's like you fall into this trap of, I guess it's just, it's dark and it's evil, and it's like someone's sucking all the life out of you. And I guess with knowing what you know now, it's like we were so young when we first started on the road, and we were touring with all these bands, and I was always a kid that grew up saying, no one can make me do anything, I'm my own person, I make all my own choices, you know, I'm not vulnerable. And it's like, you don't realize how vulnerable as a person you can be, because you're just trying to do your thing and trying to have as much fun as you can, but you end up picking up habits from other people. And I'm not having a go at everyone in the world that we've toured with and stuff, but I guess when you respect someone and you're like, oh my gosh, we're going on tour with this band, this is sick, and you see that the way that they're acting, you're like, oh, well, this is the way you must act then.
Yeah.
You don't even like actually think, wait, this is not me. What am I doing? You just end up going with it, and then before you know it, you're at home and you're like, what the heck?
Happened.
I am such a mess. Like, how have I got this far? Like, why do I feel so shit? How has this happened? And it's like, and then you start looking back, and then it comes to the point where you're like looking at pictures of yourself as a kid, and you're like, what happened to you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
I do.
You just feel like, oh my gosh, this isn't me. So I guess in the time when I had my operations done, that was like a massive moment where I was like, it was like life went, you're going to sit and be still so that I could work stuff out and realize, you know, what I really want for Marmozets and for my future and for all our fans' futures. Do you know what I mean? I don't want people coming up to our show being fucked up and ambulances coming in. Do you know what I mean? We have this great atmosphere now at our show where it's just like everyone's just positive and no one gets hurt. So
it's good.
Touch wood.
That was actually part of the next question. It's been quite a long time since the last album. What was the main reason that you took this time? Was it a conscious decision that you made yourselves, or
it's just the time that it took?
Other factors?
Yeah, there's loads of factors. Obviously, behind this and everything that we create, we have family and we have friends, and we need a time out just to reconnect. You know how families can be. People can think some families look perfect, but underneath, you know, they're not. So we just I had 2 major operations on my knee, so I had to learn how to walk again. In that cycle, I got quite depressed, and I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. I just want to go open a little flower shop and have a little cafe and just, start making a future, because I couldn't see a future in this, because I was like, I keep giving and giving and giving, and I get nothing in return, in the respect of, I've got dreams. I want to build my own house one day, or be able to pay rent for a house and have my own space as a human being. I think that's okay, but I guess it's kind of one of the things where it's like, well, you're on your second album, but you might have to wait till your third or your fourth album till you're going to get that. So that's in the back of my head. So I'm just going with it and being as positive as possible. And I think that's the best way to be if you're going to be in the music industry.
But I still think that your success is slowly growing, especially in Germany. You have, the last time you played here, it was at MTC, I think, just across the street. Mm-hmm. And even playing venues such as this, which is almost 3 times its size, I think that's just small steps when you put it in numbers. Well, but when you just think about it, you just have to keep coming back, and I think you're doing a great job of what you're doing,
totally.
So.
Something I definitely have learnt is patience, because in my head I'm like, get all these ideas and like, now, let's go. But I think it's because we've had so many tough years doing this, and we've been a band for 10 years. It's not like we're just... This is our first album. It's like, hey world, we're Marmozets, we're all fresh and new and ready. It's like, we have to keep evolving and keep finding ways to like feel mentally able to carry on. Do you know what I mean? Because it's difficult. Living on the road is like, it's a crazy way of living. Most people think they'd be cut out for it, but I assure you, it is definitely a test.
Obviously, there's lots of lack of sleep involved and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get my sleep. I love my sleep, so...
That's good, though. You do. Your newer record seems a bit more straightforward than before, especially when you take into account your older releases, which are not even on Spotify or bigger streaming outlets.
Yeah, our older stuff.
For example, I think it's Passive Aggressive was one of with Collisions on it, and... I think there's a very different vibe even between your last album and the newer one. What was the main idea, musically speaking, as for the approach? Did you just get in a room and write riffs, or was there a special formula?
We all individually write stuff, and then it just happens. I guess because we live life together, our music evolves together. So because we're all going through the same situations, obviously individual ones as well, but. I guess we're just always there for what Marmozets needs to be. Like when we first started, we were very kind of like rocky, punky, pop. I've always wrote poppy choruses, if people want to call it that, strong melodies and hooks, because that's what I like. I like to be able to sing something repetitively, and it gets into your head and it does something to you, and you're like, I'm into that. So that's why I do that kind of stuff. But it's been a crazy journey, because we did all the passive aggressive stuff, but we were just angry teenagers that just wanted to fucking slay and like just be mad shit crazy. So we got all that off our chest, and now we can move forward, and it seems like we're getting a bit more chilled out every time, but we've still got that energy there, and that energy is always going to be there. So
but I think it's refreshing that your energy is evenly divided among the 5. It's not like it's the show that's all about you as a singer, and everybody else is just the background noise.
Heck no.
I think it's really nice that you're doing it as a band. And there are many projects where the singer is idolized or put on a pedestal. And I think it's great that Marmozets is not such a band. So that's really good.
I think it's because it's easier to work with one person and to focus on one person than, say, a band. But I think that's what's so special with us, is because everyone is so cool and so different. I'm okay to say that. I think I'm cool. I'm not that bad.
I can agree.
So it's like, it just wouldn't work. Like, doing solo stuff, it'd be stupid. I'd go work in a flower shop.
See that.
So,
and as for just brief example, Major System Error as a song, what's the meaning behind the song, and especially the hook? You think 1 + 7 = 7, 7 makes 2.
Okay, so it was Sam and Larry Hibbett, who did the first album, Weird and Wonderful. Basically, Sam, Jack, and Larry were doing some demo stuff, and as they were demoing, Larry Hibber got a phone call from his accountant saying there's a major system error. And Jack was like, I don't know why. He just got inspiration from that straight away. And so he wrote down major system error. And it was like, we want to use that in the chorus. I'm like, cool. And then we kind of just put like, it's kind of one of the things where it's like, you know, when people lie and make up stories, and it's like, well, if your story ever comes true, can you keep it together? Do you know what I mean? It's one of them things. So it's kind of like, it's talking about how somebody's completely lying, because 2 + 2, what does that make?
4.
Yeah, it doesn't make 7, does it? So, but we actually typed it into Google, and it actually is, it's a sum for a major system error within the computer.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So for some reason, we fluked it completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I like about music. Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah. Merging this topic with the more straightforward approach, I feel like this song is really, it's based around this one riff, but it's really so catchy. You end up singing just the riff because you really get hooked onto it. And I'm honestly fascinated by how you can write such a catchy chorus. How do you find these ideas for the great melodies that you employ in most of your songs? Does it just come naturally to you?
Well, it's a team thing. I don't know. It's just we push. So I'll be like, I've got a chorus, and then Sam's like, I've got a better one. And that's where the sibling thing has to be like, cool, okay, let's do that, because it's benefiting everyone. Then it's not like, fuck you, man, I'm gonna get jealous because you wrote a better chorus or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. They do come naturally, yeah. But you have to search for the right guitar riff, because I have to get inspired by what they do. But I don't know. We all write songs completely different. Like sometimes it's just me and Josh on a piano, and we'll write a song and that'll be the start of something, or it'll be a guitar riff. Or it could be like literally just a drum, and then it's like 3, 1, 7, 7.
Yeah.
It's like,
so it's never just one person saying, "Hey, I wrote this entire song, throw it into the room," and everybody has to work on it.
Yeah, we all work on it together.
Yeah, that's really great. I like that.
That's why we split the money evenly, just so that people know, in case anyone wants to know. Because you find half the time, like the singer takes 70% or whatever, and it's like it's a load of bullshit.
Yeah. All right. I think that was all I wanted to ask. So thank you for the great interview, and have a nice show tonight.
Thank you so much. You coming tonight?
Of course I'm coming.
Cool.
We came all the way from Mainz, so...
We came all the way from Hamburg.
Right. See you at the show tonight. Have fun.
All right. Thank you, buddy.